Hey guys, Sacrobolic, your envoy of hope here. I'm doing something I don't normally do, which is I'm recording a foreword before I actually watch the anime. So Kara no Kyoukai, The Garden of Sinners, is a visual novel that was created by Type Moon and was actually written by the Fate Stay Night creator. I believe he also did Tsukihime. Regardless, I originally watched the series, the anime adaptation, in March of 2018 during my challenge to watch 100 anime in 1 month. And the reheated episodes where I posted those old reviews have come out already. And the craziest thing about it is, of all of my videos and all of my reviews, even though I have honestly shit-talked way more popular series, the Garden of Sinners reviews are actually the reviews I get the most hate for. I'm surprised, actually, to hear that people care so much about this. And everyone is always telling me how wrong I am and how I sort of missed the point of the movies. Now, frankly, I don't think I did. But that's what this foreword is about. Is if everyone is so convinced that I got something wrong with the reviews, I'm going to go back to Garden of Sinners. I'm going to rewatch the whole set of movies, and we're going to see, who knows, maybe I did miss something. And to be as charitable as possible, a lot of series at the time, especially during the time period where the visual novel was created, loved to put things out of chronological order for no fucking reason other than to make itself seem smarter. Monogatari is also guilty of this. So, here's the thing about that. As a reviewing, so even the purists can't complain about this, I'm going to be as charitable as possible. If I truly didn't understand it, I'm going to rewatch the entire set of movies in chronological order. That way, the only things I can base them on are what the movies show and how well they line up with each other. If there's any problems in the delivery of the movies, it is fully on the fault of the movies in that regard. So, giving it as charitable as possible, we're gonna see if I did make a mistake. Maybe there are something more to these movies. I don't even believe I gave them particularly negative reviews. I just remember them being sort of overall mediocre. But who knows? Maybe I missed something great. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am. I'm sure I'm gonna go through this and probably be bored out of my fucking mind. But I am going in with an open mind, and I am willing and prepared to be wrong. So, the next time you hear me, I'll have already watched the first movie. Let's see what happens. The Garden of Sinners, Chapter 2, A Study in Murder, Part 1. So the year is 1995, and our two central characters is this girl named Shiki and this guy named Kokuto. Basically, they're, I want to say, high school students or something, and they're going to class, and Shiki enters into the school, and the guy had previously seen Shiki like standing outside. I think it was like snowing or some shit like that. And so he ends up trying to talk to her. She's very demure, very meek, and she's resistant to this conversation. But we see throughout the course of the movie, he ends up wearing her down, and they end up basically becoming friends. At the same time, we also get the information that there is a serial killer in town that appears to be killing and dismembering people. We also have occasional shots which shows Shiki. From the shot that I saw, from what I remember, it was like someone got hit with a car, and then Shiki comes up, places her hands in the blood, and then puts it on her lips, and then you see the blood dripping down her lips. Anyway, there is a sort of question that underlies this movie, which is Shiki the serial killer? And turns out Shiki has a sort of split personality, and one of the other personalities is there to manage her desire to kill everyone that gets close to her. And right now, her desire is sort of focusing towards Kokuto and how she kind of wants to kill Kokuto. So he ends up seeing an instance of her near a decapitated person and begins to, he says that he's not suspicious of her and he has faith in her that she hasn't killed anyone. But what he does start doing is start camping out in front of her house, presumably to, I guess, prevent her from leaving and actually killing someone. But he ends up lying to the police and all a bunch of that. And we don't get resolutions to whether Shiki is a serial killer or not. But when we go into this, I will say that I am pretty sure she's not. She does try to kill him at the end of the movie, I say in quotes, but I will also say that we have previous scenes where she is shown to be a pretty competent swordsman, even though she does end up losing the fight because she's sparring against, I want to say, her father. And when we get to the scene at the end of the movie where she's like trying to kill him, she's like swinging wildly with none of the grace that we'd seen in the previous season. Plus, as someone who's already seen Garden of Sinners, I distinctly remember she has the murder eyes from Tsukihime. So if she wanted to kill this dude, he would be fucking paste. So I'm pretty sure that despite all of the hints that Shiki is supposedly the killer, I'm pretty sure Shiki's not the fucking killer. And if I had to guess, the reason she tries to kill him at the end is specifically to dissuade him from camping out in front of her fucking house because the urge to killing him might be getting stronger. That's my suspicion. I don't remember all of the plot details of this fucking of these movies, but that's where I'm going with this. What I will say is that a major crux of this movie is the relationship between Shiki and Kokuto, and it falls completely on its fucking face during this. Because the main issue is there isn't a lot of heavy characterization for Shiki and Kokuto. I would say there's more for Shiki, and that we know about her feelings and the multiple personalities and the tensions between her family, but we know very little about Kokuto, and their interactions with each other don't really give us much insight into themselves or the relationships. We know that Kokuto claims that he's in love with her, but we don't really see why he would be in love with her. There isn't a great building of the romantic relationships. One thing that the movie does do fairly well, although be it inconsistently, is there's a lot of still shots and like frames where characters are moving slowly throughout the scene, and it's doing this to build tension. And it does this with mixed success. Sometimes the scenes and the progression do truly move too slow and it gets a little boring, but other times this movie manages to maintain a pretty good and tense atmosphere throughout the runtime. Do keep in mind, however, that like the vibes of this movie it's like the feeling, like the movie successfully gives you the feeling of when you're watching like a horror movie and you know the killer is in the house, but things haven't popped off yet. It's like that, but it's for an entire hour. Like the entire movie is just that building tension scene, and there really isn't much of a release. So you could say that it's sort of overly long and drags its ass. What it does isn't bad, and it's mostly set up for what's going to be a multi-part movie series, and this is already coming off of what I believe was the first movie, which was very action-oriented. So I'm not going to say it's necessarily a mistake, but I am going to say that the movie doesn't accomplish too much in the way of sort of like progressing things. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic. You're Envoy of Hope. Bye-bye.